As a result, when Eala performs, we all gather to watch and cheer her on. So amazing. Seconds, I've never done this before. We perform fantastically. I'm grateful. Only when Alex performs do we pay. Seconds, thus, the year subscription is just in case. The monthly, huh? You only have to pay when she performs. Playing is paid for. Seconds, obtain the annual. $77. I adore the candor. Seconds. On March 7, 2026. A Filipino fan standing inside the BNP Paribas Open said those 7 words. Directly addressed to Indian Wells tournament administrators, the seconds were uttered aloud on the record to those in charge of the event rather than being whispered or anonymously uploaded online. And hours later, when still fighting back tears on the court, Seconds Alexandra Eala herself explained why 115 million fans have made the 20-year-old seconds the most potent ticket in women's tennis. This raises the question of whether Eala's supporters will continue to attend events solely for her or if they will eventually fall in love with tennis itself. Post your response in the comments within a minute and 7 seconds. Aya has just defeated Diana Yastrema in a 3-set battle. 4-6, 7-5. In a late-night Indian Wells thriller that lasted 1 minute and 16 seconds, every point sounded like a football stadium. While she was still cooling off, hundreds of people waited in line outside the arena for autographs. It wasn't a Grand Slam championship. The world number 32 competed in a 64-minute, 32-second bout. Other courts were half empty across the grounds. The WTA cannot overlook this contrast in a minute and 40 seconds. This week, Indian Wells faced criticism due to new ticketing regulations that made Stadium 2 appear empty during the first few minutes. There were noticeable gaps in the spectators and sporadic clapping as the top 10 players entered the court. After a commanding 6-4, 6-2 second round in minutes, 7 seconds, the world's top-ranked Aryna Sabalenka has 11 victories and 1 defeat this year. Victory observed the enthusiasm of the audience and mentioned how many seats were occupied on a Friday. She expressed gratitude for the 14-second turnout. Now think about what was going on EA's court at the same time. Minutes, 20 seconds, only standing room, with flags hanging from each railing. 2 million Filipinos reside in California alone, and fans have traveled for hours from Los Angeles, San Diego, and the minutes, 29 seconds Inland Empire. Packing a facility to capacity for a player who is ranked 31 spots below minutes, 39 seconds, Sabalenka. The crowd had to be acknowledged by the world number 1. They were unable to be forced to leave by the world number 32. Indian Wells was not the starting point of this pattern. Minutes and 49 seconds. Sulatalik, the tournament director, officially acknowledged that it had begun to pick up speed in Dubai 3 weeks prior. Minutes and 57 seconds. We made about $53 million in 72 hours over the course of 3 days, and it was fantastic. Minutes and 4 seconds every time she played. The stadium was packed. People were frantically attempting to obtain tickets, according to Tahak. We have never witnessed anything like it in minutes and 11 seconds. A tournament director, who has hosted all of the biggest names in women's tennis, said that a player outside of the top 30 created demand he had never seen. That isn't fan fervor. That is a market disruption in minutes and 26 seconds. Even more astounding are the stats off the court. Minutes, 33 seconds of Eala's pre-event press conference at the Australian Open in January received 171,000 views on YouTube. 9,000 minutes, 41 seconds were drawn by Sabalenka's. The most powerful player in the women's game, the world number 1 3-time Grand Slam champion, was outdrawn 19 to 1 minute and 50 seconds before a single ball was hit. Minutes, 58 seconds, by a 20-year-old who had never advanced to a Slam quarterfinal, not by a rival champion. Then came the quote that summed everything up on March 7th. The statement that is currently reverberating throughout every WTA boardroom was uttered by a fan at Indian Wells speaking to authorities. 5 seconds later, Phil Starr was cited. Only when Alex plays for 1 minute and 14 seconds do we pay. That isn't just fandom. Exclusive economic loyalty is what that is. In simple, 22-second language, a whole population tells the sport that their wallet's open for one name and closed for everyone else. It's also visible to other players. Coco Gauff made an incredible statement while standing at the press podium following her victory over Eala in the Dubai minutes, 31 seconds quarterfinals. Minutes, 36 seconds. I'm sorry, but I know you're all here for Alex. I want to congratulate Alex for introducing a new audience to the sport. I think the atmosphere in minutes and 45 seconds is fantastic for the sport. The winning player gave the losing player a minute and 51-second credit, not for her tennis skills, but rather for what she gives to every arena. Golf realized that Eala's audience wasn't merely waiting for a result for 4:5 minutes and 58 seconds. In a sport that had never seen them before, they were making their presence known. And following that exhausting Indian Wells triumph over Yasta in 5:075 minutes and 7 seconds over 3 sets in almost 2.5 hours, with temperatures plunging into the desert cold, she discovered a microphone and her voice cracked in 5:165 minutes and 16 seconds. "It means the world to have this community behind me," she stated. "Remain up late, stay in the 5:235 minute, 23-second window, reprimand me, and encourage me." So, did being up late, staying outside in the cold, and supporting me actually help to the sentiments and emotions that followed the game at 5:305 minutes and 30 seconds? She was not expressing appreciation. 5:355 minutes and 35 seconds it overpowered her. Her voice made it clear that she did not consider the throng to be background noise. She fights through third sets at 11 o'clock at night because of these 5:425 minutes, 42 seconds. If you have been claiming for months that this phenomenon was 5:505 minutes, 50 seconds real, and that the energy surrounding Eala was unlike anything tennis had ever seen, then every tournament director, analyst, and other player on the tour is now confirming what you already knew at 5:555 minutes, 55 seconds. 6:026 minutes. 2 seconds. Steve Johnson played in front of the largest 6:106 minutes, 10-second crowds in professional tennis, spent more than 10 years on the ATP Tour, and rose into the top 20. One of the most reputable independent voices in the sport, he currently co-hosts the Nothing Major podcast. At 6:226 minutes and 22 seconds on February 25, 2026, Johnson made a statement that no other member of the media dared to make. 6:256 minutes and 25 seconds. Is she larger than Sabalenka? Is she larger than Coco? She asks, is she the biggest draw? At 6:306 minutes and 30 seconds. Does she surpass Sabalenka in size? Is she larger than Coco? Yes, it's insane, buddy. Only a standing room. The crazy crowds throughout the world at 6:396 minutes, 39 seconds. The number 32 player in the world is the biggest draw in women's tennis, according to a man who has lived inside those venues and has played in front of large crowds for years, 6:466 minutes, 46 seconds. It's already there at 6:566 minutes and 56 seconds, not moving in that direction. The WTA has never had to deal with what EA stands for. A player whose cultural 7:037 minutes, 3 seconds gravity is an order of magnitude higher than her ranking. Every competition she participates in turns into a business event. She risks half-empty stands every 7:117 minutes and 11 seconds. Next is the Miami Open. The clay court swing and Roland 7:197 minutes, 19 seconds Garros follow. While watching Indian Wells and Dubai, tournament directors from Strawberg to Eastbourne are asking the same question at 7:267 minutes and 26 seconds. How can we include Alexandra Eala in our draw? The more profound question is whether these supporters stay devoted to a single player or become lifelong tennis followers. 7:347 minutes, 34 seconds. Eala appears to understand the stakes. In 7:457 minutes and 45 seconds on March 7th, she stated, "I have only dreamed of making tennis grow in the Philippines. And now I'm introducing tennis to a whole new global audience." She is playing for more than simply 7:527 minutes and 52 seconds. She's acting out a movement. 3 weeks before to Indian Wells, Eala lost 0-6 and 2-6 to golf in Dubai in 7:587 minutes and 58 seconds. A double bagel in a quarterfinal in front of the same 8:068 minutes and 6 seconds boisterous Filipino crowd that had helped her go through the draw. In response, she thanked the opponent who outperformed her and the audience who waited for 8:148 minutes and 14 seconds, without offering any justifications. She returned to the court 7 days later, winning a 3-set marathon in the bitter weather at Indian 8:218 minutes, 21 seconds Wells. Dubai sold out. The press room of the Australian Open flooded. 8 to 298 minutes, 29 seconds on a Thursday night in March. Indian Wells became a Filipino celebration. 8 to 348 minutes and 34 seconds, and without hesitation, a fan alerted the tournament administrators after glancing at them. The entire sport is suddenly compelled to face reality. Only when Alex performs do we pay 0.8:458 minutes and 45 seconds. She is bigger than Sabalenka, according to Steve Johnson. She changed the game, and Goff thanked her. Eala demonstrated that her relationship with her people is not a commercial ploy by standing on the court with tears in her eyes for 8:538 minutes and 53 seconds. No rating can quantify it, and no opponent can take away 9:019 minutes and 1 second. This is the query. Will tennis itself eventually win over Eala's supporters? Or will they continue to appear only for her at 9:109 minutes and 10 seconds? And is that devotion a gift to the sport or an issue that the WTA is unable to resolve in 9:189 minutes and 18 seconds? Leave a comment with your response. 9:259 minutes, 25 seconds. You belong here if you noticed this occurrence before the tournament directors and commentators did. This channel follows the narrative as it develops. Miami later this month, Indian Wells this week, and every 9:329 minutes and 32 seconds thereafter. To be present when the next wave arrives, subscribe.